So today we're going to add rational expressions. Before we do that, we'll take a step back into the memory machine and just add some fractions like we're in elementary school again, because the steps are still the same. So if I go to add 2/3 and 3/4, what's the first thing you have to do to add fractions?
Common denominator.
Common denominator. So step one is find the common denominator. And that should be a skill we possess and feel pretty fresh about doing that, because the common denominator is the LCM, which is a fresh skill we should possess because we just did that. When? Yesterday. So if you did the homework, you're all practiced up on finding LCM.
Yep.
So for these fractions, you would pick 12. After you get the bottom picked out, then you're going to have to change the tops. We're going to have to multiply to change tops. So here we multiplied the bottom by 4, so you multiply the top by 4. It's 8. Here you multiplied instead by 3, so the top is 9. Then what? Just add. Or maybe subtract. I think it's a mix today. I think it is both adding and subtracting, but it's really about the same thing. So we add up here and you get 17/12. And then maybe you need to simplify in some way. And that should be also a fresh-ish skill, because we did that 2 days ago. 2 days ago, simplifying was one of the things that we did. So depending on what grade you were in or what book you had, maybe they wanted 1 5/12. Maybe they didn't care. Maybe there was something to do, maybe there wasn't. But those steps that you're familiar with the process from like elementary school and up, it's the same steps to do these things. It's just letters. That's all. Question about the idea, what we're trying to do? So I gave you an easy first one. What's an easy thing about the first one?
They're already common.
Already common denominator. So the answer on the bottom is going to have still y. You don't change the common denominator. It's common, including the answer. What you just need to do is add up the tops as best you can. Say it louder.
13.
Say a different number. 12 plus 1. It's tempting to some people to probably cross out the y's. Don't. That's not legal. Why are we not allowed to cross out the y's right now? They're added. You're only allowed to cancel things that are involved with multiplication. If you don't see a ton of multiplication, don't cancel. If you can't factor, don't cancel. That's just not a move. Something there. Next one. Still easier or not as much?
Still easy.
Still easier because it still has
Common denominator.
common denominator. So answer's going to have
X
x plus 1. Top's going to have
X squared plus 5x.
agreed. We can't cancel right now, but can you cancel? Yes, probably, because you were able to factor. This bottom is in parentheses whether I write them or not. The top, we can factor it into a multiplication scenario, xx, 4, 1, pluses. Again, if this is plus, these are the same as its friend. Multiply to 4, add to 5. So that's out, those are in. Final answer, x plus 4. Because the x plus 1s are cancelable. Question there. The third one I made a little bit hard because we have a little bit of not a common denominator. I said yesterday on LCM day, we were going to consider these to be the same. When they're backwards, we're just going to consider those to be basically the same number. And they are basically the same number, but they wouldn't have the same sign. Okay, so today for adding and subtracting, you need them to be truly the same. So what I would suggest is take the first one and just leave it. Take the second one and do a switcheroo. If you're going to switch that, you have to pay for it. You can't just go in math and be like, I'm going to switch some stuff around. But it is legal if you switch this if you pay for that by switching, the tops could work, or even simpler,
Just sign it.
change that minus sign to a plus. Or if that were a plus sign, change it to minus. So if you're going to do a switcheroo of the bottom, just do a switcheroo of the sign that goes with it. And now we have a common denominator. It would be x minus 2y for the bottom. Top, you try to add like as best you can. Sometimes it just doesn't play nicely with you. But top, if you add as best you can, yeah, there's no like terms, you just keep them. Question about those? We'll take it up a level. So these have nothing even remotely close to a common denominator. So first thing we've got to do is pick a common denominator. So 7 is there, 3 is there, x is there, everybody needs represented in this common denominator. What are you going to pick? 21x. 7 and 3 go into 21, but we need the x. The word of the day yesterday was most. Everything that was there needed to be there, and the most you saw, that's what you taught. So sometimes there were even powers. Question about picking bottom. That's yesterday's skill. Now we've got to think about multiplication. 7 bumped up to 21, so you multiplied by 3. There's also an x appearing. So we need to go to the top and multiply by 3, but also have an x appearing.
9x squared.
9x squared. What did we multiply by here? 7. So I'll top, multiply by 7.
X, Y,
28y. Question about move 2, we changed some tops by multiplication. And you want to add as best you can. Easier here without that item.
9x squared plus 28.
9x squared plus 28y. Can you cancel anything? No, because all that added. Can you factor anything? Don't think so either. What if that were 27?
Then yes.
Yeah, then we could factor out 9. 9 could cancel 21. You could do stuff with that maybe. So some other problem in your life might you simplify? Yeah, maybe, but not this one. Something there. Take it up another notch. And then this is about the notch where we stay. On this one, common denominator has nothing to do with 20, so don't say anything about 20.
X plus 4, X plus 5.
X plus 4, X plus 5. So I usually do this to try to help people feel better about it. Those are there, whether you write them or not. The common denominator needs to have both of those things. And here's where I get a little bit lazy about showing my work. That bottom is going to be all throughout all of that. I don't want to write that 3 times. So I'm not going to. I won't make you. If you like to, go for it. Fine by me. For the first fraction to make its transition, what did the first fraction lack?
X plus 5.
X plus 5. So if you're going to introduce an x plus 5 on the bottom, you've got to do that on the top. And then what's this going to have to do?
Even it out.
What's it called? Foil. We're going to have to FOIL that out. So if we FOIL this out,
X squared
there's an x squared.
plus
There's a plus 3x total, so she already cut the corner there. There's a positive 5x. There's a negative 2x. You put it together, it is a positive 3x.
minus 10.
There is a minus 10. Question about first fraction maneuver? Who was the second fraction short?
X plus 4.
X plus 4. So this top needs an x plus 4. And again, you're going to have to FOIL. FOIL it out, you're going to get
Squared plus
squared
7x
7x
plus
12. Trouble with any of that. And then you just add stuff. So if you add stuff, x squareds,
2x squared
2 of them,
plus 10x
10 x's,
plus 2.
and a 2. You can't cancel unless you can factor. This you can at least do a little bit of factor. You could take out a 2. Will taking out a 2 help you cancel? No. Could you factor x squared plus 5x plus 1? An x squared plus 5x plus 1 factor? No. So since you can't ever get a cancel, I don't care if you factor. I'm fine with this answer. If you took the 2 out to write x squared plus 5x plus 1 to look at it and think about it in your paper instead of holding all that in your brain, I'm fine with that too. But it doesn't cancel, so it doesn't really make a difference. If this were like a 12, would x squared plus 5x plus 6 factor?
Good.
Yeah, if that was a 12 and we got down to x squared 5x 6,
Yeah.
how would that factor?
Wouldn't it be boom, boom,
Boom,
plus
boom.
3, x plus 2?
X plus 3, x plus 2. Would we be able to cancel?
No.
Still no. So I still wouldn't care if you factored that. The only way I'd care that you factored it is if you were ever going to cancel out of it. Question about that one. Likelihood of you getting a cancel?
Yeah.
Feels
Well,
pretty low. The only way it's going to happen is if the author of a book or a math teacher on purpose works really hard to make a problem that's going to cancel. And so that'll probably happen in the homework like a couple times, 2-3 times maybe. But there's not going to be a lot of canceling in it. For this one, again, I think putting parentheses around stuff sometimes clarifies for people what's going on. It isn't necessary, but it doesn't hurt anything. What would be our common denominator on this? A, and then an A plus 3 in parentheses. That's going to be all throughout this whole process. Common denominator, just take both items. Question about pick bottom? So who does the first top need that's new? An A. The bottom was pretty good, it just lacked the A. So on top, if you sprinkle in another A, it is A squared, because we're multiplying. Second top. Who were we missing for the second fraction?
A plus 3.
A plus 3. So we need to introduce on top an A plus 3, and we're going to have to FOIL. A squared, minus a 1A, minus a 12. Question about that. Not 2A squared here. Why not 2A squared here?
Because they cancel each other out.
Yeah, because what happened for the first time on the board today?
They subtract.
Subtracting. What does subtracting cause to happen? Distribute the minus through all that back half and all of the signs flip. So there's an A squared. This is going to become a minus A squared. So those are a wipeout. This A is then positive. This 12 positive. Don't cancel anything. Those don't match. This is still like it's in parentheses if that makes it clearer to you. Those are not the same. You can't cancel these because they're different items. Again, likelihood of canceling, very low. So if you do this homework and you're canceling all the time, probably you're not doing the right thing. Something there. Okay, the last one is going up. One just baby step more. It isn't really much more of a process, but what's the last baby step I took you up for this one and the next one? It's still coming. You have to factor it yourself. So we have to look at the bottoms. We're going to have to do a little factoring to make our choices. This one, how would this factor?
Minus x minus minus.
Minus minus.
4 and 3.
4 and 3, 3 and 4, whatever order you like.
Y.
This one,
Y plus minus.
different signs.
5
Plus 5 minus 3. How many different things did we just encounter? 3. So I need all 3 of those in my common denominator. Namely,
X minus 4.
yup,
Y minus 3.
yup.
Y plus 5.
And then yesterday's main conversation was, should we do powers? I see 2 of these, so do I need 2 of them?
No.
No, because we only ever got one at a time. Question about picking that bottom, and I just don't feel like writing that every time. The bottom's going to be the same for everybody, so I just, not in the mood. I'm up bottom picking. Okay, so that first fraction, we've got to multiply to change the top. Who's missing? Y plus 5. So this one, if we introduce a y plus 5 to multiply, 21. The second group, look at this, look at where we're headed, who are we short?
Y minus 4.
Y minus 4. So wrap that up. I just need to reload. Y minus 4, FOIL,
Y squared plus 3y minus
minus 2,
28.
agreed. So 5y squared?
Now.
Ah, I tried to get you. Because again, we've got that minus sign, needs to switch everybody. Y squared count is 3. 17y, 28. And then I'd think for a minute if I'd be able to cancel, but first I'd have to be able to factor. Is there any chance that this is going to be a factor with 28?
No.
No, because
5.
5 can't go into 28. Any chance this could be?
No.
No, because that's not going to work for that. Any chance that 4 could do a 28?
Yes.
Yes. Any chance that a minus 4 is part of this? No, because the signs would have to be plus. So just get out of there. That's the best we can do. There's no chance to cancel, so don't factor. If this had been a minus, then I'd have tried to do a guess check, but my only guess would have been this one. Like y minus 4 is the only thing that matters to us at that point. Something there. Last one, it has 3 instead of 2, but the process is no different. Maybe this makes people feel better, clearer about what you're looking at. This, factors, who's this going to be? 1 plus 1, y minus 1. How many different things do we see there? 2. We see y plus 1 as well as y minus 1. And that's going to go through like all of those bottoms. I just ran out of horizontal room to write that. Who is the 4 missing? Y minus 1. So that's going to be 4y minus 4. How about the middle one?
Good.
Good. Just keep y plus 2. Last one? Needs the y plus 1. So
3y plus 3.
3y plus 3. Gather up your y's.
8.
8. Gather up your numbers. 1. Can we cancel?
No.
No, because those are there and everybody's different. Nobody can cancel. Again, I'll emphasize chance of canceling very low. Need to think about factoring? Yes. Going to happen often? Probably no. Question about add, subtract? The process should feel familiar, A, because it's the same process you've been doing since elementary school on normal fractions. And B, because in Algebra 1 you did all these same type of problems with fractions. Like you've seen this before, it's back again. It's just a matter of working the bugs out and getting the practice on this. Where we are, 6-3 homework. Okay, there we go. So 258, we're going to 30, we're skipping the 3s, and that's where that one goes. So let's double back to 253. I'll answer as much stuff off of 253 as you need, and then we'll see if we're going to do a little quiz or if there's a ton of questions on this. So
What was the?
you can tell me. New thing's 258, goes to 30 but skips the 3s.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Sure. $253 is what we're trying to turn in today. So, like always, the odds are all in the back, so if you check the odds, you have a pretty good feel for whether you're right or not. But if you want some even answers, I'll give them to you. If you need some help, I'll give that to you. Did your book for number 30 change the x into a y? Anybody that can see number 30, is it an 8y in number 30?
I think so, drew it in.
It's like scribbled out and drawn in.
Okay, that needs, on 30, that needs to be a y to make any sense. Their original print of the book, they had y-x mixes, and that's kind of
Yeah.
goofy, but that needed to be an 8y to make that problem doable. Anybody need any guidance on what some answers were? Anybody need some guidance on how to do
21.
21? Factor the first one. What do you think for that?
It'd be y plus 3, y minus 3.
It is. Factor a GCF on the second one.
So it'd be 3 and then y plus 3.
Yep. And then just take everything you saw. So take a 3,
Okay.
take a y plus 3, and take a y minus 3. Do you need any powers? Because we did see some duplicates. No, because it only ever happened one at a time.
Okay.
If you got stuck on that one, 22, 23, 24 all did similar things with a little bit of GCF work.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anything that had any uncertainties? Anything you need, an answer or 2 or 30? Anything I can do to help you with your homework career off of 253? Nothing. So if you're done, send those down.